SARS now, man. We know you did it, but no, that's not all that we want, man. You know what? Let's get it. We understand that SARS is gone, but what we are asking is what? Police reform. And the police reform that we are asking is not about just moving one police from one department to another department. We are saying that change some of the ways that you guys do stuff. Teach them the best practices so that they can actually do the right stuff to keep the community in safe. You know, a lot of people say we black folks don't have the capital, and it is true, but we have the voices, which is bigger than capital. You understand what I'm saying? Because it is so difficult for a government to actually give the people some power. Because they know that when people get power, the country gets better. And we understand that. So now that we have the opportunity to reform the police, please, let's do it. Because understanding that the people who are in the police are still family members. Understanding that the people who are in the police are still part of the community that we live in. Understand that the people who are in Nigeria, the police people, they are actually working for the people. And that was confirmed by the IGP of Nigeria.
What started as a police protest has now turned into a call for a social revolution. Nigerians now want more jobs, better schools, better infrastructure, and an end to all corruption, which is what hashtag End SARS has now become.
Dr. Martin Luther King once says that route is the language of the unheard. He says that because there's a difference between political will, all right, and real power. And real power is looking deep into more of the stuff that we've been dealing with, that we think the society actually don't get it in a vacuum. For example, the End of SARS right now came about because within the 90s, all right, there were too much armed robberies all over Nigeria. And the government had a good knowledge of recognizing that and said, you know what, we will form a unit to deal with this kind of problem. But right now, you know what? The person who was supposed to actually help end the corruption and crimes is actually part of the people who are doing the corruptions and crime. This is why I don't support police people creating any stop barriers anywhere. This is why Ghana had that MP killed, because you know why? Anytime you see anybody can form a barrier. Anybody can put a stick and some stones anywhere, and put a stick on the stones and form a barrier and stop whoever they want. You understand? And thinking the idea is that you are thinking that is the police. And sometimes these guys are armed robbers. So Nigeria government thought, no, you know what, we will actually form SARS to help with the people in terms of crime. And you know what, they became the bad apple. That is why all this reform they are calling for. Look, to give you a typical example of what the police were doing, watch this.
The unit that was set up in the 90s, the initial purpose of it was to deal with armed robberies, cattle rustling, and other violent thefts.
They were given a special remit, initially not needing to wear uniforms, acting as a sort of faceless security force. Over time, essentially, they used their autonomy to be able to move around very freely, set up roadblocks, but they definitely became the kind of more brutal face of the police, eventually being accused of extrajudicial killings, torture, corruption, and robbery. Many Nigerians essentially see SARS as a replica of the very criminal groups they were set up to address.
Oga Nigeria, be me for tell you, say, you go get pushback on this thing. The team be say, the people, they know the help. So if they know the help, why we get them, all right? If they say form a police reformer, man, reform that stuff, because the police way they reform, no. All right, don't go to any small unit. I hear say the people where you sack them, no, you take them go from another squad, we give them different name. Charlie, they no go fit work, because if they don't train how to do proper stuff, they no go fit be. it is that they like, see how many names you give them some time ago. See the names.
We do not want them to say they are banned. They was banned 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. But now we are saying end to SARS.
See, the reason is that the people, they get background, they get history. So that SARS thing, the work. That's why when Davido got to Nigeria, he demands the one supervise.
No, not supervising. You are coming to talk.
That's what I say.
It's not supervising. You are coming there to talk.
I get many talents.
You are coming there to talk so that you also interface.
IGP, I've got news for you. Let's go.
Number one, immediate release of all arrested protesters. Yesterday, we thank God, everybody was released. But apparently, they said in Abuja. In Lagos, there are still people arrested. Number two, I think this is the most important point. Justice for all deceased victims of police brutality and appropriate compensations for their families. I tweeted something yesterday. I said, this, out of everything, this is the most important thing. Because even if there's reform and there's change, you cannot change a life that has been lost. That one is 100%. Number three, setting up an independent body to oversee the investigation and prosecution of all reports of police misconduct within, they say within 10 days. I don't agree with that. You cannot, it's impossible to do anything within 10 days. But it's something that should be looked at. In line with the new Police Act, which they just signed, even before this, psychological evaluation and retraining of all disbanded SARS officers before they can be redeployed. I agree. So, really what they're saying is, okay, the ones that did offense, charge them. The ones that didn't do anything, or still retrain them. Even the good ones, retrain them and then redeploy them, which is very important. I'm doing that. And this fifth one, to me, after number two, which is justice for the deceased victims, number five is the most important. After that one, increase police salary so that they are adequately compensated for protecting lives and property of citizens.
Which is what #End SARS has now become. And if you don't know, now you know.
I ain't got no time to smoke this, hold this. Yo, G, go by in a black top.